All right. Wednesday, March 6th. Wednesday, March. We're going to have the Meshery meeting now. And my name's Lee. There are many other, I'm a maintainer of Meshery. There's many other maintainers on the call. Actually, there's quite a few. If I get a moment, I'll try to make each of them co-hosts so you can identify them. You might have seen them from such PRs as a Meshery relationship. I don't know. We'll talk about Meshery relationships today. For some of you, we're establishing that other relationship today, which is more like that human connection. For some of you, this might be your first time coming onto the Meshery development meeting. We have a few meetings in this community. And we'd like to get to know anyone that joins. We assume that you're joining either to use the project or to contribute to the project. And there are a number of projects. Meshery is our biggest one. It has many extension points, so many places to plug in. So some of our other projects fill in those voids. They are extensions. They plug into Meshery. I'll try to bring up a slide that maybe shows how some of the other projects orbit Meshery. In the meantime, is there anyone new here? Anybody that, or maybe you've been here before, but you'd like to say hi again? Just introduce yourself real fast. There are a lot of familiar names, but between Faisal and Musa, we might have spoken before, but I'm not sure if we've had a chance to get to know you. Adarsh, I think you might have been on a call before in the past. You've got a PR to
Yeah,
discuss.
yeah. I have been I've been on a call earlier.
Oh, okay.
Hey, good morning, Lee and everyone else. This is Fasil. I'm with the KCD Los Angeles chapter, and just curious and listening in first time.
Right, Fossil. Very good. Good. You might be the winner in terms of the time zone today. You might be our leader. I assume you've got coffee or tea in hand. Is it 7 a.m. for you? Is that what's happening?
It is 7, and you're spot on the coffee. Yeah, this is my first cup already.
Cheers. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Musa, are you with us? I didn't realize I was hosting today, so the jokes are particularly terrible. That's not why any of you come anyway, but it's nice to have Fossil. Let's get rolling on the agenda. Adarsh, actually, you're up first. You want to introduce the topic and take us through?
Yeah, sure. So, hey everyone, my name is Adarsh, and today I'm here for the PR review. Okay, so the PR is recently we got a bug while uploading the design dot YAML files in the design section, right? So, my PR is regarding that. I have fixed that issue. Okay, so like initially, when we are uploading files, it was prompting an error that permission denied thing. Okay, so to fix that issue, I just did what, like initially, we are just uploading the design.yaml file directly to the like we're directly like uploading that thing directly, but in this patch I just did what, that I created a temporary file path. Okay, and my design file will be read onto that file path, and then in the request I'm sending the like location of that file path, and from there, like, that file path is being fetched and saved, and that it's being read. Okay, and after that, after it's being successfully read, uh, it's the response is being passed, and the design id is being extracted from it, and it's getting set it up with the help of set designs id function. Okay, and after that, if everything is okay, then we are just prompting a notification that hey, everything is cool, and if there is an error, we are just prompting the error, and other than that, we are also clearing the await, like we're also creating that file path, temporary file path. Okay, using await function. So that's what my PR is doing.
Hey, others, like, by any chance, are you sharing the screen? It will be good because then we
Sorry,
know what the context is. Can you
do I
please
need to
share your
share my
screen?
screen?
Yeah, sure. Please go on.
Yeah, sure. Just a second. Just a second. No? So okay, just let me show you where is my PR. Okay, here it is. Right. So yeah. So this is what the issue is. Okay. Where it is. Okay. Is it visible? Just let
Yeah,
me
Oh,
yeah.
know.
oh,
Sure.
Hadarsh.
So
Mm. Yeah,
am I
please.
moved?
No,
Okay.
you're not. No, we just have a couple of standing rules in the community. Share, always share. Never ask, always share. Share, 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 share. Lost context is well, it's terrible on those with ADD. I was almost going to check my text messages there for a little while. Anyway, share if you would. Also, if you're the recipient of sarcasm, it is mostly from a place of love, also a slight place of harassment. Either way, it feels good if you're dishing it out. And if you're dishing it out, you should expect to receive it. So I've just got a ton coming back my way. I know this. Also, no need to say, can you see it? Unless you want to chip in $2 into the end of the year pot in which we, have a raffle off and we give away the money. It's just a time waster. Somebody will interrupt you and say, "Hey, we can't see your screen." So just go forth with confidence and share. We see the discussion forum now.
Sure. Thank you. So this is the discussion forum, and this is the issue which is raised by her. Okay. So like this is the design file, and where if we are uploading this thing, okay, from our local computer, local file server, so it's giving us this error that is failed to upload design open.temp data permission denied, right? And this is the Docker compose file. So there are two kinds of errors which are listed here. The first one is permission denied error, which I just fixed it, and this the second one is failed converting Docker compose application. So I don't have any idea about this error, okay, to be very frank. And this second one, like this first one, I have fixed it via this thing. Let me show you the PR. Okay, so where it is, let me just a second now. I think here it is. Okay. Yep, here it is. I guess. Yep, this is the one. Okay. So initially we were just calling the API, okay, and we are directly uploading the YAML file, right? Here. But and this is the normal like try and catch block error, right? So in this function, I just did what that instead of directly uploading the YAML file, I just created a temporary file path where the YAML file will be uploaded and read, and then I'm sending the file path like then I'm
Sorry
sending
to
this.
interject. Like, others, like, you are doing that on UI.
Yeah, I'm doing that on
That
UI.
that should be done on UI because we are creating files on the UI. So this doesn't make sense to me. We are using OS methods, like you are importing the OS library here. Is
Yes.
likely to be done if we were using Node.js, but we are not. This should be done likely on the Golang server, not on the UI side, because this is not the UI thing.
Okay. So because like I tried this and it fixed the error. So I
Yeah, it
thought
will.
ki maybe
It might work in the UI dev server, and either way, like, is this not the way to go? Like, because this thing should be done on backend because we are using OS methods and we are creating files like like a JavaScript application shouldn't create files on your OS. Like, you would freak out if some app is creating files on your OS.
got it. Okay, so I'll find another way to fix this thing. Okay,
Yeah,
if
this
that
if
works.
like Golang is not your fault, you can like share this thing and some Golang dev would help up, or maybe
Uh,
there might be some other reason for this issue.
I can work with Golang. Okay, So the thing is, I just tried like, can I fix it in the UI itself, and this worked. So I thought of creating a PR. So nothing like that. I can work on Golang as well. Okay, if that works.
Yep,
It
Adarsh,
makes sense.
that's
Like,
yeah. Yep, that's great. Yeah, it does. Adarsh, actually our Golang conversation was because of that, because you'll want to address this one on the back end. And so the nice thing is you've already proven, hey, you can get it fixed. And so good. Adarsh, if you're successful with the next iteration of that this, part two, that second part that you were highlighting on the discussion forum, um, if you want to tackle that one as you think about it, you're most encouraged to talk aloud about it, or just sort of as you go to frame it up and how you're going to approach it. Um, I guess you're not shy in Slack already, but I would just say don't be shy on the forum or in Slack, and we'll you'll get some feedback, or you'll get folks helping point in the right direction. So,
Yeah,
but,
got
but
it.
this is great, Adarsh. Actually, so I didn't know. That sounds like you might be able to. You're a full stacker, or rather, you might be able to
No, I'm
impact.
not a full stacker. I'm a backend developer actually. I just like figured out a way to do this thing.
Nice. That's another. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna keep complimenting you. Like it's just another. It's like there was an obstacle in the way. You're not a front end. You're not focused on front end. Didn't matter. You adapted, overcame. Nice, good, Adarsh. All right. We'll maybe we'll see an update on your PR before this coming Wednesday. I suppose it'll maybe this weekend even.
Yeah, sure.
Nice, good. Thanks for that. Yeah, they're both atrocious. And they're both completely break that functionality, which is fairly terrible in terms of how it is the project is trying to build out a catalog full of, well, cloud native best practices, cloud native and cloud best practices. And so to what Adarsh is working on, users having a hard time uploading designs, uploading patterns, like the ones that we're seeing here. And so that's no good. Anyway, Yash, I guess we got Uzair is probably up next. Uzair, you want to?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So my update is also revolving around the failing to like bugs while uploading or importing designs. So, uh, so this was specifically that is some in some of the cases where when the file contains multiple YAML files with the separated by this YAML separator, the server was not parsing it correctly, and rather than extracting only first component in the file. So this was the file that was tested with. So if you try to locally import this file, only the first component in this stateful set was getting passed and uploaded and saved in the remote provider. So this was happening because of the way we were extracting the individual YAML. So the way we were splitting the YAML using the YAML separator. So this was the logic around like if you see like slash new line characters and 3 hyphens and a new line, then split it. So this logic was like quite flaky, and that's why we were seeing those errors in some of the cases. So I've fixed that by instead of like using string manipulation and using string manipulation to pass the YAML file, I'm basically using the YAML library itself to like import that whatever file that is being passed from the UI as a request body, and then iterating through all of the manifest using this YAML decoder itself. So this was like a quite easy fix. And if you want to try this. This was the file that was tested with, and this was the same file that the issue was filed with. So Ripple basically pointed out that he was trying to publish a catalog item using this file, but not able to, but was not successful. So yeah, this was the same issue. Any issues, thoughts?
Yeah, Uzair, did you say that you ended up using a library to help parse those, or you ended up using Go client or something else?
Basically, like, uh, doing marking every time it is the YAML file, we use the YAML library itself, which is the package itself. So I'm using that only. The hello,
Yep. I
hello.
don't want to lie to everyone, but I'll just say, gotcha. Yeah, we couldn't hear that last part, but yeah, if you want to finish it up in chat, that would be great. Yash.
Okay, thank you, Zara. As you will come back, you can like share again in the chat. Okay, so Ripple, would you like to share about the Meshery CTL and related PRs about that, I guess?
Yeah, sure. One second. So the recently I was working on the Meshery CTL commands. Like there was a new command for the connections. So by this, right now I have just created. Those are the list command. List all the connections and delete the connection by using the connection particular ID. The second one was related to the Meshery CTL models command. I have added two new subcommands for it, like the push and pull for pushing and pulling the models to the OCI registry. And the third one related to the Meshery CTL is for the relationships. Like by adding this new command, we can view the relationships in the JSON and the YAML file based on the particular model.
Demo. You don't have, yeah, you don't happen to have any of those pre-built by chance on your Windows machine? Just kidding. Cool. So wow. So three new features in Meshery CTL, right? So
Yes.
the pushing. Okay. I mean, some of these, that last one you said is pretty significant. I think it's the pushing and pulling of OCI images by Meshery CTL or Meshery CLI. It will push and pull. What is it designs or is it
Models.
models?
The whole folder for the model, like all the
Wow.
components in it.
Yeah, wow. We got to pushing and pulling of OCI images of Meshery's models back and forth to OCI compliant container registries like Docker Hub, actually before we got to import and export of models. Is that right? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Okay.
For
And
the
so,
importing and go on.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying for importing and exporting, the Altaf was working on them. So I just take a road and working on it. And the other updates were related to the relationships. The recently one I have created is for the volume attachment and the persistent volume. So whenever, so the other one is for we have started working on the new models other than Kubernetes. The one I am working on is the AWS Prometheus Service Controller, and I have created the two relationship for it. One is for the workspace and other components in it, and the other one is regarding the adopted resources and it relationship with other components like alert manager definition and locking configuration.
Yeah, nice. So actually, I think you're breaking ground again here, Ripul. What is, this is the first of something. This is the first of what?
This is the first of the new relation for another model. Like we were only focusing on Kubernetes uh, relationship for the Kubernetes model, but we are spreading out and like Shubham is working on the Cube Armor.
Hey, it's probably an appropriate time to take a moment to make sure that everyone understands what Meshery models are, what Meshery relationships are. It's helpful to those that are coming in to contribute, helpful to those that are coming in to use Meshery. Victoria, I wonder if you might have a page that has each visualization of the relationships, something you might prepare as I take a moment to just explain models. Actually, I don't know, Abid or Yash or Rupul or Shubham, anybody else want to take a crack at just explaining Meshery models?
Okay, I can take. Let me just share the screen.
So Faisal and anybody else who hasn't been, who's relatively new to the project, this is for you. Or so be selfish, ask questions, please. Or you're not being selfish. This moment's for you. If you're familiar with other projects, maybe like Terraform. Well, I'm not really familiar with Terraform that much. So that's a bad example. Shoot, I don't know. Other projects that model infrastructure, the properties and attributes that you use to define how it is that you want for your infrastructure to be configured. Well, that's more or less what models are. They help Meshery characterize and configure infrastructure under management. Those models are generally used to describe infrastructure, like I just said, but they can also be used to describe capabilities, things that Meshery is actions and things that Meshery is able to perform on the infrastructure itself. So I'll be quiet, Josh.
Yeah. So let me try to explain in a simple way. So models are kind of technology that can be supported. Like one of is an example of Prometheus. Prometheus can have different components. So model is a collection of those technologies that Prometheus supports. And it can be AWS support different things. ECS, like creating VM and different things can be related to a component. And collection of those are called models. And model can have multiple things. One of is a relationship. So relationship define the relations between components. So how one component connect to each other inside the model or outside the model. It can be possible there are other components outside of this Prometheus model. So relationships defined how this particular component will connect to other components. Yeah. More model have a concept of policies, connections, and credentials also. So policies, I think, for policies, I will ask Jose to explain that better because he has better knowledge on that. But for connections and credentials, it might be it. For example, for Prometheus, if you are connecting to a Prometheus, you might require a credential. So models also have a concept of credential, which helps you to store that or create a new credential for Prometheus also. So yeah, that's I hope that clarifies. If there is any questions.
So yeah, Faisal, does that help at all? Does this start to resonate at all? Kind of what the concept of a Meshery model is? We're gonna put you on the spot just because it's your first time on the call. That's how it is. You can optionally, you could pretend to not be at your computer and not respond. That would work. Mr. KCD, Los Angeles. Faisal, are you there by chance? You with us? You're not making a second cup without me, are you? Okay, just checking. Okay. Anybody else not familiar with models just yet? Antoinette, just as a way of getting to pick on you, maybe as not even picking on you at all. You've seen these Meshery models before. I wonder if there's a project or some other technology that you might be able to use as an analogy. Like what would Meshery models be to, I don't know, some other piece of software that you're familiar with? Does anything come to mind? Or maybe Mario? I don't know if you have an example. Oh.
Example for what, sorry?
Oh, an example of like an analogy as to what Meshery models would be in another piece of software, like something that people might know and they could compare it to.
Oh, yeah. Terraform providers. So I sent a couple links in the chat. Basically, they have a registry, and each provider, like Azure RM, communicates with Azure cloud provider specific.
Cool. Oh man, Mario is cutting out, but he sent a few links in chat. Yeah. I'm just going to pass along the info that he was sending. Good. Okay. I'm not sure if this is really this is a good use of our time. I'm not. Is anybody getting a better understanding of models? Mario's example is spot on. I think the analogy to Terraform providers, different. So you load up different providers depending upon what type of infrastructure you're working on. And those providers have kernel knowledge or specific knowledge as to the details of that infrastructure, whatever that infrastructure is. AWS as an example. There are a growing collection of Meshery models for AWS specifically, and actually Rapul was just highlighting one of the new relationships for, well, I guess it was the AWS managed service for Prometheus, and how, yeah, maybe how adopted resources relate to Kubernetes pods. Adopted resources or something a new concept to me, something we could talk about at some point. Anyway, there's a number of resources. If you're here and you're trying to understand the project, models are something that we'll talk about a lot. So they're worth spending a moment to dig into. Here's another analogy. This is not a technology analogy, but rather if you're currently in university, or if you've ever attended university, this might resonate with you. There's a comparison to your registrar's office and the registrar's office, how it works, and sort of a comparison to Meshery models and how it works. So you have to let us know if you find that useful at all, or you just find it confusing to do such a comparison. There's one little entity, there's one little construct within Meshery models that is a bit of a latecomer, and it's Dr. Nerd there. It's Professor Nerd. Well, or it's the registrants, the concept of a registrant. Now, they've been around for a long time. So to explain this real fast, and then we'll get back to the regularly scheduled agenda, is just to say that when you start Meshery server, it's a single container, contains Meshery server, contains the UI and stuff. It contains the UI the server, the database, a logical registry where other Meshery components like Meshery adapters start up, reach out, register their capabilities with Meshery server. They register those capabilities as models. And when they register them, they go into the internal Meshery registry. There is a page on the screen here called registry, and it's beginning to be described as something of a ledger. It's just Meshery keeping track of all of the infrastructure and all of the capabilities that are loaded into it. You may want to use Meshery to manage things in AWS or GCP or just in Kubernetes, or just do performance tests and do performance characterization, load generation. You may want to use Meshery to do a number of different things. As a piece of management software, Meshery will do and does a lot of things. And as such, maybe you want to load up and register many different types of models, or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to only have a few types of models. And so I think it was just a call or two ago that we were looking at how you can ignore models and not use them, how you can import and export them. So some of what Rapul was just demonstrating was the ability to take a model that you've described and push and pull it to a container registry. That becomes really helpful for this idea that Meshery has this internal vacant ledger, an empty ledger, if you will, where at boot time, it, like out of the box, self-registers all kinds of capabilities. The capabilities that it self-registers are those that you can find in the Meshery repo. There's a folder in there in which there are a couple hundred or more models that are ready and waiting and get automatically loaded at boot time. So anyway, there's a ton of things to talk about how all this all works. And so I figured we'd cover it a little bit. So Rapul, I guess you were just wrapping up so before we move on, anybody have questions or comments on Meshery models, registry, capabilities? Of course you do. Most of you are saying, I hope either you're saying, gosh, I hope somebody else asks a question. They're not really getting it. I'm not really sure what to ask. Some of you are just saying, please don't ask any questions. Can we just get off this topic? Oh, okay, fine. We'll just get off this topic. So back to Rapul. You had a few things you were demoing. The push and pull from registries is quite interesting. And as we go to engage with all of the CNCF ambassadors and all of the Docker captains here this month, that's something to help make sure that they're aware of, is that as they go to invest, each of these CNCF ambassadors, each of these Docker captains, especially the ambassadors, they have many technologies to cover and many technologies to advocate for and go, teach people about. And often they singularly represent a given CNCF project. And so because they spend so much time and go in depth on a particular project, they are extremely well positioned to help build out a model for that technology. And so some of the relationships that you guys are building, not the human relationships, the Meshery model relationships that you're building, I had to distinguish because we're talking about those other CNCF ambassadors. Well, we'll want to build a relationship with them and ask for their feedback. And so we're going to set about doing that in a big way. I think I'd sent out on the mailing list, we'd just spoken with the CNCF staff, the executive staff, and they were quite encouraging about exploring a hosted instance of Meshery being the CNCF's playground, their official playground for exploring and trying out all projects, since Meshery manages all projects. But it does it, it does it a little bit uniquely in that it's visual and there's a catalog of all of these things. And so, yeah. Speaking of being visual, Victoria or Ritik, you don't happen to have a page that has all of the relationships defined, do you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but in Figma we can
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might want to flash it at some point.
right. Yeah. That's a little work left. Like then we can
Oh, okay.
publish them on docs.
Got you. Okay. Shubham, I think you're up next.
Am I audible? Okay, for some components, the relationship for some components they were missing on the inventory relations were missing, so I added them. And these are for the Kubernetes one. I'm working on the Kubama one, and in 2 days, I think there are only two components, so it will be done in 2 days. It won't take much time. It's actually started working, and I am almost done with the first component, that is the Kubama policy. And second thing is that uh, this is the repository I'm working on to add the catalog designs. So this repository itself contains around more than 50 designs. So in 2 days, almost will be I'll be adding more than 50 designs on the catalog. So this is my second update, actually third update, and I'm working on this. And the Cube Armor one will be done within 2 days. So we'll have one more model like completed in 2 days. Any questions? And this is uh, these are the new components that have been not new components, new relationships for the components already present in Kubernetes that have been added.
I'm intentionally being quiet so others can offer feedback.
This is between CSI node and
No, not between CSI node. Actually, the component relationships which are present, they were missing these components. I don't remember from which. This is from CSI driver to CSI node, and this is from uh,
okay.
storage class to CSI storage capacity. This one missing already.
Okay, so just a new addition inside the tool list.
Yeah. Pardon me for my voice. My throat is not fine. Any more questions?
Not from myself.
One thing that's a little bit interesting is that as these relationships are being built out, there's this use of that action, the replace action. That's fairly prevalent, and I suppose that makes a lot of sense. I am curious to know if we've attempted to take on a bit more of a complex use case around network policy, like to the extent that a Kubernetes service wants to establish a network edge or an edge connection, a network connection with a deployment, to the extent that that deployment has any number of that it has multiple ports open or multiple pods, multiple containers, multiple ports per container, how it is that we're expressing that sort of a complex relationship. So food for thought, or something to maybe come back on.
Currently, like we are working on just one-to-one relationships, not those complex ones. Once we are done with this, like we are ready to go for the complex ones, we can shift to them.
Yeah. Uzair, do you think that there's a schema update needed?
Yes, I was about typing that what we need. So yeah, like the scenario that you're suggesting is quite advanced. So right now the current schema, the current relationship schema doesn't support that. But as many of us be aware that there has been few discussion around it, like so how to capture inside the schema, whether it would be a parameterized list of how the container ports are, which container to attach to or which port to attach to would be like how it would be captured. So yeah, a relationship schema update is like mandated to support this, but not sure about what the actual schema would be.
Got you. Yash.
Thank you, Shivam and Uzair. Okay, so I think next topic is from Satakshi, updated and enhanced blog. Satakshi, is this related to blog web? Okay.
Yeah, it is related to the blog on Meshery.io. So this was the issue, and we need to fix and format the image, add the images and format the blog. So this was the PR I raised. I added these images and made the text bold and with the consistency of the blog. So any improvements on that?
I think it looks good. It would be also nice, like this is something good topic to share in the Mishri type meeting. I will say our website meeting on the Monday. It's a good topic to talk over there too. But yeah, from my side, it looks good to me. If there is any suggestion for Satakshi. Okay, I guess is there any more update, Satakshi? Would you like to share?
No, only this one.
Thank you, Satakshi, for sharing. I guess this was your first item which you completed. So that was awesome. Like that's nice to see.
Yeah, second one.
Okay, good. That's good. Thank you, Satakshi, for sharing an update on enhanced blog. And let's come to Ritik. Ritik, would you like to share about the updates that you made for the feedback template?
Yeah, sure. I'll share my screen.
Also, if you can share a little bit of context regarding the feedback.
Right. Sure. All right. So we have this new thing inside our Meshery cloud as well as in our mesh map or Meshery. So we recently added this feedback uh, option. So now if a user is using our product and they have some feedback or issues or suggestions, so they can click on this button and we show this uh, pop up. So like user can send their issue directly to us. So they just have to type in their suggestion or issue, then clicking this checkbox, and if a user type anything and they sends us, so we also get we get the issue or the suggestion they have suggested to us, and we also send a review email to the user regarding the issues they have or the suggestion they have provided. So right now it looks like something like this. So I was working on enhancing some items in this, like for example, here you can see like the spacing is uneven. So right now it looks like it is not a part of this thing, it is totally different. So what I did is I just removed the extra spacing, and yeah, extra spacing or extra code that was causing this issue. So yeah, now it will look something like this. Or also I have this added this line to separate out that this section is totally different, this thing is little separate from the above content. So yeah. Yeah. Feedbacks or any questions? Also, I have updated a little bit of a content over here. So,
Josh.
Looks good to me.
yeah. Yeah, I have raised the PR as well for this. So Yashu can review it. All right. Yeah, and another is like on this email template. So whenever user publish any design from a playground, so we get an email. So like I have added this button. Like right now, it's just I just inspected and added the button. So this basically I will be adding that just to show like how I will be adding this. So yeah. So early one thing is that right now on approve, like we take the any maintainer to the playground, not to Meshery Cloud and to the request page. So should I change the link to directly allow maintainers to approve directly from the email and deny from the email, or should I keep the same flow?
Yeah, from the same as the request for them to access the playground, that the approve should go to an API that supports. Uh, yeah,
Approves the
approve. Yeah,
right.
it does. Yeah.
All right, same for deny, right.
Yeah, just a small thing here, like if you would make the design name bold or something like different to pop up.
A little bit bigger, right? All right. All right. Yeah, also like Lee, if you can like explain what does this mean?
So
Zero margin, what? Yeah,
yeah, good. Yash, what's next?
yeah, all right.
Okay, so next topic is from Vivek and Sangram.
Yeah, so I'll be saying, and assuming it's clearly, I'm clearly audible and the screen is visible. So yeah, we are like putting efforts to, make some of the tutorials on various cloud native concepts that you can do while in Meshery Playground. And as in that effort, this is the first, I would say, completed tutorial from Sangram. So let's, go there. So this is basically the PR where he's adding a tutorial on Kubernetes pods, how you can configure Kubernetes pod in Meshery Playground, not the usual YAML way. And so I did some of the changes in here, and let's take a look at the tutorial itself. So on Meshery docs, if you in the TOD under guides, if you go to tutorials, you will find the the present tutorials and also the one who will be there in future. So I'm waiting for it to load. And like the basic idea is we will be having all the tutorials under guides for now. And the way it will work is this page that is slash guides tutorials, it will get all the tutorials and will group them based on their model. So Kubernetes would be a model, and under this its kind will be there, like the Kubernetes pods, config maps, and cron jobs. And yeah, so this is a page. We are starting from here, and we'll be expanding as we get more and more number of tutorials. So that was something. And finally, this is the tutorial that I'll be sharing the link in chat in case if you go and take a look. Also, offer your feedback while you do so. So I will wait for like 5 to 10 seconds if anyone of you would want to give any feedback on this in this one. This is basically, yeah.
Vivek, is there, outside of giving feedback on this first tutorial, is there anything else that contributors here could potentially do around tutorials?
Yep, they absolutely can, and I'll be saying that quickly. So many of you might have, a background in cloud native and DevOps in general. So there's current ask of, creating more number of, more these kind of tutorials. Like this one is for Kubernetes pods, but there's need for, these kind of tutorials on config maps and around cron jobs too. And similar, we'll be creating more and more number of those. So if it will open, then I can show you. Or I also can share that link in chat if it doesn't load right now. So you all can go and can also, take up those issues to, potentially make tutorials. Let me just look for it. I'm facing some issues with bandwidth, and that's why it takes a little time to load. But I can just go to SPR. Or if you can help, getting to the PR, so then from there we can talk. I can do the voiceover and you can share the screen. Okay.
Yeah, good. I don't know if Yash is doing that. Did you say you wanted someone to maybe share the screen for the different tutorials that are
Yeah, yeah.
being called out? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, so if you're
Yes,
here,
yes.
yeah, nice. Am I sharing my whole screen or just, yeah, I guess my whole screen. Great. So hey, yeah, we're in need of a few tutorials. I'm just going to open up one of the issues, Vivek, and I'll be quiet.
Yeah, okay. That would be helpful. Yeah, so yep, so this is the epic one, and it lists some child issues in there. You can see 4 of them right now, and you can take any one of these, and also more will be added. So basically, for finishing this task, Lee, if you can open any one of these. Also, details you can read later, right? I'll just get to the part where what's the ask. Yeah, so this is one of the child items. So you would need to publish a docs page, and the structure is already laid out in terms of is already there. Like you just need to copy it down and refine it in terms of how you can do it in Mystery Playground. So like if you are to create any Kubernetes pod, you do it usual YAML way, but how you can do it visually in Mystery Playground, you have to say I mean, you need to write those steps in here. You also might want to, include some of the screenshots and inform us of GIF2 if that helps. And you'll just be good to publish it right there. The front method that is there, it will automatically take care of it, that it gets listed in the tutorials page based on its model. So if it's for instance, if it's configuring config maps in Meshery Playground and it has model Kubernetes, so it will be automatically listed in the page that I was demoing earlier. So you just need to take that the structure that is laid out and fill in there the details. And for sure, for that, you would need access to Meshery Playground. And for that, you would need to fill the form. But as you fill the form, you'll be good to go.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, if you're into DevOps and you want to reinforce some of your knowledge around some of the technologies, since Meshery integrates with so many, we're in need of various tutorials that show how to configure those technologies using Meshery. So, so for any of you that are on the call, it's a good opportunity to reinforce your learning and create a tutorial at the same time. Yash.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek, for sharing about the learnings and how contributors can contribute in that particular area. We are actually on time, so I will wait for 5 more seconds. If there is any urgent item to be covered, we will be covering that. Otherwise, we will be wrapping the call. So maybe we can discuss the internet. The internet, would you like to share about those things? Or
Sure. So this is just a quick update. So since I was out of town last week, I wasn't able to go back and provide the documentations on how to actually get started whenever you want to test the component inside of the package and packages or outside of that. One of the reasons why I didn't was because there's a slight error with not error warning whenever you try to use the assistant library within an addition application, and you run into the whole issue with the emotion server React that's saying that there are multiple instances. So that's why I always say, like, it is better to test it in a brand new app outside of it so that you can see, okay, where are your potential issues? What are some things that you can add, remove before you go back and test it in Meshery UI and Meshery Cloud UI. But I will be adding documentation to try to look for certain things that you may run into. Expect to look for that in the coming week, this week, or probably next week. I will be adding unit testing and integration testing, maybe, to test the components before releasing. This will help any of the rendering issues that you may run into. If you want to test a new functionality that you can't do in Meshery UI and Meshery Cloud UI, you can do it in here. As you can see, we already have an example app for Next.js 12, and I still have my open PR for Next.js 14. There will be pre-planning for version 15 sometime in the near future to add more component functionality and also going back to refactor on existing components and icons. There are a couple of features, some deprecated features that will be happening in React 19, even though that is not till for like it should be like another year, but it is something that we need to plan for to keep in touch with the type definition, because they did change some of the existing functionality, and so we can't use some of the like function component, and even though they are available now, but it will be. Yes, I am aware. I am aware of the theme refactoring effort. And lastly, I still have the open PR, but maybe sometime by the end of this month, I will have it get a review, see what you think of at a starting point of where we can be to make this transition on Meshery UI, and then that will also allow us to test the colors, the changing of the theme, dark, light, and any of the components that needs to be refactored, and also testing the Redux, as well as marking any of the data before we actually test it against the server. There was something else I was going to say. It will come to me. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, it sounds like in the .9 timeframe, we might be able to incorporate, or there's probably a plan to incorporate a lot of Systent into Meshery UI, at least from the timing that you were saying.
Yes. Oh, right. I just remember. So since we're still trying to create the website to display the component, using the open PR that I have, you can use that as an inspiration to look at how some of the components that have been set up. Anything that I have not done, you can provide a feedback, update, suggestion, whatever it is, because I welcome that, because sometimes that there are some of the components, as I mentioned before, that I start working on it, and then something else could have been better, and then that could have helped with that particular component. So you can use it as inspiration. I am creating different pages to get an idea of how the components look like when you change colors and whatnot. And hopefully I can show some of that soon. Right now I only have the some of the pages with the buttons with the different colors, and also a couple of pages with the drawer and the app bar and colors and whatnot. Oh, the color definition will be refactored a little bit so that we don't have to keep using the uppercase, and then we just try to use the not the lowercase, the factor. Just try to use it that way. And there's something else, but I know there's a lot, but all of that will be put together in a documentation so that everybody's aware of what I'm working on, and
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys
the rest
know when we're
dependent.
going to have the first use of the assistant theme in cloud or the UI?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, or maybe for Rex and Abid and Sudanshu, do you guys know when we would have the first use of the assistant theme in cloud or Meshery UI?
I think we're only waiting on the colors once the theme palette gets done. Because it would be implicit, we don't need to import it in cloud or anywhere. It would be implicitly done, like the theme would be an assistant and it would be used inside the assistant component. So whenever we use the assistant component, we'll be using its theme. And that's the most okay, but we might still need the theme in the custom components that are not insistent. So first, but we need to get the palette done.
Yeah, okay. And so, yeah, maybe that's my confusion. So like the theme that we have inside of cloud and the theme that we have inside of the Meshery UI, there's a palette that's defined, or there's a theme that's defined with colors. My understanding is that that would be displaced with use of assistance theme. Is
Yeah,
that
exactly.
okay?
That should be
And
completely
so,
displaced it, all those different themes.
yeah, any blockers?
No, I think like we're just waiting on Rex finalizing the colors or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah,
And after that, we should be
Rex,
good.
any blockers, Rex? I think you've had this
Not
for.
entirely. I'm putting rules for each of the tokens, so that's the only thing left.
Okay, but does that doesn't hold up? Okay, you're putting those into Figma?
Yes, so that
Okay.
Sudanshu can then go in there and then finalize. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. That doesn't hold up the implementation work though, right? In the theme, like, do we have the theme written out? Is it published in Assistant? The colors?
Yes, but not all the one that is taken from Figma. If any, well, for me, not all of them. I do have like placeholders from what I copied from, but they're not directly exported. But if you want to go ahead and export them for testing, go ahead. But yeah. But any others, yeah, all of that would need to be added in a over time.
Yes, like we have the theme, but like when Rex will finalize the rules and the tokens, then I have to just replace them with the existing ones and add the new ones. So we like doesn't confuse again.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Internet. Is there any other suggestion for Internet or review?
Just a quick
Okay.
follow-up. Internet, the release process that we're using now, any hiccups with that? Or are we on the other side of it? Like, it's okay that we occasionally publish a release, and are there things that we need to make sure that we're doing to stay in sync better? I just want to make sure we're not.
I mean, everything was fine. It's just that we still need to make sure that the version is updated in package .json, but it seemed like it didn't have a bad effect. But as far as like if anybody have a question on which version we're on, then they're thinking that when they look at that package, we're on this version, but it's actually later version. I'll work on it to get it updated. I'm just trying not to make it convoluted while the process, because the publishing process is fine. It's just the version is not updated. But no, everything's fine. Like I saw the recent, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for that, Yash.
Thanks, Lee. Okay, so I think if there is no other urgent items, we can wrap this call. Before wrapping the call, I would like to announce that we have tomorrow newcomers call, which will be mainly focused on understanding things like models and everything. If you have those kind of question, newcomers call is a great place to ask those questions. So I will encourage you all, if you are new, and I will encourage you to join tomorrow's newcomers call. You can find all the details at the Layer 5 events calendar. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Lee, for making sure that we are live today. I was late, and yeah, thank you everyone. It was a
just
good
before
call.
just before Yash ends, like along with tomorrow's newcomers call, there is also a bi-weekly build and release meeting at 11:30 p.m. IST, or there is a meeting invite link that that is present in the same calendar that Yash is sharing. So yeah, do join it. It will be same like how the build and CI process of the entire mesh projects interlinks and operates.
Thank you, sir. It's on next week, so make sure you are also like over here. You will find all the details that you need. So thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a nice day. See you next week, same time.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.